Do attachment styles and personality tests really matter? Let me know in the comments. I actually not reacting to anything right now, but I will in the next two segments. But right now, I could just want to give some commentary, give a little story, because early on this week, I had the urge, I had the desire to take an attachment test. And if you don't know what an attachment style test is, it's basically what your attachment style is in your relationships, in your romantic relationships, in your family relationships, and in your relationships in general with people. So I was just curious, and I ended up taking the test, and the results I got were a lot worse than I thought they were going to be. And that ended up leading me into a rabbit hole, as all things usually do. So I ended up going down the rabbit hole trying to learn every little bit of what this test is telling me that I'm supposed to do, who I am, telling me who I am, and the issues that I have, and the strengths that I have as well. So as I was going down this rabbit hole, I began to feel as if I was just becoming upset. I was becoming upset. I don't want to say depressed, but like a little, little tugs towards the feeling of depression. And I was feeling a bit anxious as well. And I was just like, oh no, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? I was just in my head all the way. And then I was like, wait, can you stop? Whenever there's a problem, we can go to our Father. So I was like, okay, Lord, I want to heal your way. This thing is telling me I need healing in this area. I want to heal your way. I'm not perfect. You know I'm not perfect. So with that, I came to realize I don't need these personality tests. I don't need to know my attachment style. All I need is to point towards Christ. And as I'm praying, as I am reading my word, as I am seeking Him in His ways, the parts of me that don't align with that will be shown to me. And as it's being shown to me, I can pray over those things and ask God to, hey, can you transform me in this direction instead of that direction? Something about the way I'm reacting, or the way that this attachment style that I'm being told is incorrect. The way that's happening, I pray that you help develop me into a healthier attachment style, or a healthier way to a healthier way to communicate and handle conflict and things like that. So ultimately, as I was going backwards a little bit, as I was going down the rabbit hole, and before I got to the point where I realized I can ask God to help me in these areas, was I started watching videos about how to do it, watching therapists talk about it. And something that the therapist said was, you need to learn how to self-soothe in regards to whatever my attachment style was. You need to learn how to self-soothe, because once you learn how to self-soothe, then you don't need anyone else to soothe you, essentially. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, why would I want to self-soothe myself when I can go to God and have Him soothe me? Because His soothing versus my soothing would be so much greater and on a higher level than I could ever soothe myself. He knows me. He knows my ways. He knows who I am. Why? It just doesn't make sense as to why I would go to myself to soothe whatever, than to go to God. So, I also want to say the how I feel about the attachment styles and personality tests is like, I think they can be helpful. I think they can serve a purpose, but I think it is not helpful when we begin to attach our identity to it, and when we tend to just accept it and be like, oh, this is just me. That's who I am. There's no changing it. Or if I do want to change it, it's all me and myself and I have to be the one to change it. Yeah, so, and I think that's what was happening to me. I was starting to identify with it, and I started to say, hey, it's me. This is me. I don't know what to do. But really, when we have issues like that, when we have, even with zodiac signs, like, that's my issue with those, is like, people tend to attach their identity to them rather than saying, oh yeah, I have that quality, I might have this quality. But I think ultimately the zodiac signs, personality tests, attachment styles tend to put us in boxes. And I don't think we're meant to be in a box. So with that being said, let me remind you guys of the question. It is, do attachment styles and personality tests really matter? Okay, let's go on to my point and get into it. All right, so my point is, where we lack and where we are weak, Christ strengthens us. Where we need healing, Christ heals us. The moment we make our flaws our identity is the moment we forget there is freedom in following Christ. So no matter what circumstance we're in, no matter what level of healing we may think we need, Christ can fill that hole and that void for us. We just have to seek him. We have to pursue him. We have to want that relationship with him. And we have to surrender our lives to him. And as we surrender our lives to him, as Josh always says, we meet him at the top of the mountain and we begin to transform and become more like him. So, yeah, let me guys know what you think in the comments. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into those comments. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah. All right. With that being said, let's get into our second segment. Oh, there is another one. From our last segment, T-Max says, understanding your style of attachment is helpful because it offers you insight into how you feel. Yeah, I think it can be helpful. But like I said, I do think if you become attached to it and you make that your identity, it could possibly be problematic. But I think it all depends how you handle your results and things like that. And I guess how self-aware you are already in that moment. So, yeah.